Welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn about getting started in Ravetree. Specifically, this video is for administrators. We're going to click up here to get to the navigator, and then we're going to go down to the admin section. And we're just going to go through each one of these really quickly. Billing. This is where you would set up your billing manager. So if you plan to make use of invoicing or our estimate feature, you'll want to set up your billing manager. This is the person who will be notified when certain billing related activities occur. You can also set up individual members to be notified when invoices have been paid and things of that sort, but you're always still going to have a billing manager. This page is also where you set up your address. This will be the address that shows up on your invoices and estimates. Down here you can set up some other information around invoices and estimates, and it's also where you can enable your Stripe integration if you choose to receive payments for invoices. Client portals. This is where you can set up your client portals, and we do have separate videos about how to get those set up. Company info. The important things to look out for here are your fiscal year, which defaults to being the calendar year, your currency. You can change the currency on a project basis, but you may want to go ahead and just set it up here so the default will easily come in. Also, your typical work day. This can be customized for each individual member, but each user will inherit the default work day, which you can of course change. Work week, typical 5-day work week, but you can change that as well. And also auto approval. This is very important because as you log time, expenses, or as people submit time off requests in Ravetree, that information can be set to auto approve, or you can require approval. If you require approval, then you'll need to set up a manager, and we'll come back to that next. Connections. This is where you can enable certain integrations that we offer. These are certainly not the only integrations we have, but if you enable G Suite or Office 365, you would do that here. These are not available during trial accounts, okay? So if you're in a trial, you will not see these. They're only for paid accounts. CRM, this is where you can customize certain things within the CRM. You can create custom pipelines. Accounts have certain fields that can be customized. For example, the account type, the industry. Activities, you can create custom activity types, contact types, and then deals. You can set up different deal sources or reasons for losing a deal. Departments. This is pretty straightforward, but you can create different departments for your company. These can be useful when associating things with departments. You can run filters later and see, for example, how much time has been logged against by a certain department, or certain work item metrics for departments. Estimate templates. If you create estimates in Ravetree, and if you find that you have similar estimates that you send out, you may want to create a template around those. You can easily do that here. Expenses. You can create custom expense categories. Often you may want these to map directly to something that might be in QuickBooks or Xero or some other accounting system. Form configuration. Now this one's really important. If I click over here to create, for example, a project, you'll notice that the project form gives you lots of fields. You may decide that you don't want some of these fields. You may want to add new ones. You may want to reorder the fields. All of that can be done in form configuration. In fact, there's 4 different forms that can be customized: accounts, contacts, projects, and work items. And what you'll notice is you can enable or disable a field. You can make it required. And you can also change the order by just simply dragging and dropping directly on this page. This is also where you would go to add custom fields. In Ravetree, you can add an unlimited number of custom fields, and we have all of these different types to choose from. Holidays. This is where you can put in different holidays. This is important when using the Ravetree schedule page. And as a reminder, that's where you can do some resource planning in Ravetree. If you allocate somebody to an assignment that is over a holiday, Ravetree will recognize that fact and not distribute their hours over those holidays. Managers. Now I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but this is where you would set up managers who can do one of 3 things. They can approve time logs, expenses, or time off requests. If you're not doing either of those 3 things, or if you have those set to auto approve, you probably don't need to set up managers. But if you do, then, well, let me say it this way. If you've set up to require approval for time logs, expenses, or time off requests, and if you don't have a manager, then there's no one to approve that information. Okay, so you want to make sure you get these set up. Members, this is where you'll see all of your portal members. You'll also see deactivated users. To add new members, you just click over here. In this case, we've already used up our licenses for this demo account, but you would invite people by clicking there. You can also set up each user's information. For example, with Cynthia, we can set up her employee information, her email address, title, and other information. Her pay, either based on an annual salary or hourly wage. You can also give her a billable rate. Time off, so you can create time off plans and associate them with different users. You can also specify which work roles she has. You can even give her permission roles and associate certain skills with this user. And just as an example, you could say that maybe she is an Illustrator designer. Maybe she's a really good Illustrator designer, 5 stars. So you can add as many of these as you want to. Offices. If you have multiple offices, you can set those up here. This is the overview page. The one thing to note here is that you can back up your data if you want to very easily by just clicking here. Permission roles. This is perhaps the most important thing that you want to set up. And you can create as many different permission roles as you want to. And as we saw in the members section, you can associate multiple permission roles, in fact, with the same user. But you definitely want to make sure that they have the right access privileges. And just to show you as an example, if we edit this one, you'll see that we have a high degree of granularity around permission roles. So there's a lot of things each user can do if you give them access. Ravetree subscription, you will only see this if you happen to be the super administrator, and this is where you would manage your Ravetree subscription. Request forms. If you choose to make use of our request form feature, this is where you create those request form templates. For example, as a user, if I submit a request form, I just click over here and select request, and then I would choose from forms. That's going to be these forms back here. Okay. And then service items. You can create different service items in Ravetree so that you can indicate the type of work that's being done. You can associate work items with service items. And you'll notice that you have the option to associate a price with each service item. This really only matters if you're making use of our invoicing and estimate feature, where if you add a service item to an invoice or an estimate, it will automatically inherit that price. Skills, we already looked at how you can assign skills to different users. You can add those skills here. Tags, you don't usually need to go to the tags page because when you add a tag to an item, for example, let's just go to the work item form, and this could be, just some task, right? So I'm just creating some task here, and then tags, it will search through the tags that have been added here. Now, if I want to add a new tag, let's just say another, well, if I can spell, another tag. Well, it's not in the database, but I can add it. Now it's there. So if I go to search for it again, you'll see that another tag has been added. And if for some reason you misspell a tag or want to delete it, you would do that from this page. Time off plans. You can create as many different time off plans as you want and assign, in fact, multiple plans to a given employee. Time off plans can be not just for PTO or vacation days. They could also be for things like volunteer days or continuing education. We've seen lots of use cases around time off plans. And then the last item here in the admin section are work roles. Okay, you can assign multiple work roles to individuals, and you can also assign billable rates to those work roles. So anyway, that covers the admin section. I know that was a lot, and we have other videos that go in detail for certain subsections, but hopefully that will help you with first getting set up on Ravetree.